Next up at UFC Vegas 96, we got Michael Morales taking on Neil Magny. Jakey Boy tweeted. I saw the tweet. It said, doesn't this feel exactly like the type of fight that Neil Magny might just sneak out and win? The answer is
no. I think you misquoted me there. If you're going to quote me, you should quote me correctly. It's I got it right here. It's got 26,000 impressions. It says, doesn't this feel like the exact fight that Neil Magny will randomly win?
Okay.
Well, I read the tweet. So go ahead. Now go with your little stupid-ass breakdown.
We got Neil Magny 29-11 in his career. 3-2 in his last 5. He is coming off of that ridiculous win over Mike Malott, and he's alternating wins and losses. He's taking on the undefeated Michael Morales, 16-0 Michael Morales, who is looking for his 5th UFC win. Michael Morales is an absolute killer who is just like quietly racking up these wins. There's not a lot of talk about him, and most of his wins aren't even that flashy, right? He's not finishing people left and right. He's not doing anything insane, but he's just quietly winning these fights, 16-0. He just beat, in a pretty straightforward fight, Jake Matthews. Wasn't particularly special, just a little sharper in the striking. But if you look at his resume, Michael Morales has maybe the most impressive resume in the UFC just for straight up skills and accomplishments outside of MMA. He's a freestyle wrestling national champion, a Muay Thai national champion. The guy is the best in his country at striking and wrestling.
It might be the fucking best looking person there too. I mean,
he's a great looking dude too. He's a great looking dude too.
Fucking beautiful.
But Michael Morales is a very good fighter. He puts it all together inside the cage. You do have to worry a little bit because he doesn't come forward and just rip your head off and blah, 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 blah. He takes his time. He's measured. He'll work in the techniques when he needs to. He's taking on Neil Magny. Neil Magny is a very well-rounded guy. He can do everything. He's good at every single skill you need to be good at to compete in the UFC. He's an older veteran. The UFC use him to test up-and-comers, but also to give old veterans a fight that they can win. He's skilled everywhere, mostly a busy come-forward striker. He does have very solid grappling as well. He averages a little more than 2 takedowns per fight. He is 22-10 in the UFC, and he has fought literally every name that you could think of around this weight class. He's coming off that win over Mike Malott, where he basically got the shit kicked out of him for 2 3/4 rounds, and Mike Malott is just an idiot, made a mistake, and Neil Magny finished him. I am going to go Michael Morales here, and it's not a shock. These odds just continue to widen. The reality is, yes, Neil Magny just shocked the world and, oh, he's a prospect killer and all that. How is he going to beat Michael Morales? Michael Morales has plenty of cardio. Plenty of cardio. Michael Morales has nasty wrestling. He's got very good striking. He's a measured guy. Mike Malott was the kind of guy that was used to just sparking people and finishing them instantly. And he went hard as shit at home. Couldn't finish Neil Magny, ultimately death-gassed. That's not Michael Morales. That's not how he fights. He's not going to be in that position. He seems smart enough, even though he's very young. He's experienced enough. He's got all the skills. These odds make sense to me. He should absolutely win here. What do you think, Jakey Boy?
Yeah, I would say I'm a little bit biased, right? You fucking slugging that water, man. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. I did have Max Payne Griffin as my lock of the week against Michael Morales. And typically, when I pick against somebody as lock of the week, I always have this disdain for him because there's always a reason why I pick against people. And for Michael Morales, I understand he's a very well-rounded guy, but I haven't really seen that killer instinct, right? And sometimes when you get these guys that don't really have this killer instinct, he should be smoking a guy like Jake Matthews. The accolades this guy has, he should be fucking smoking a guy like Jake Matthews. And he won the fight, right? But these guys, I want to see some fucking killer instinct. The last person I saw, and this isn't a great comparison because Mike Morales has much more skills and abilities, but as far as demeanor goes, it's like a Vitor Petrino. Vitor Petrino's just in there, whatever happens, happens. I'm having a good time. He ends up losing, and he's like, ho, 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 great guillotine. It's like, what are you doing, dumbass? This is a fucking your profession. Like, just show some fucking urgency. If Michael Morales starts fucking around, and by fucking around, I just mean not staying on the gas pedal and lets Neil Magny get in these clinch positions because everybody knows The only way you lose to Neil Magny is you let him clinch you. And I don't know why it happens, but it's happened 29 fucking times already where people get these clinch positions and they end up randomly winning a fight. I don't think that's going to happen here because Michael Morales should be skilled enough. I just put it out there that it just feels like one of those fights. Oh, an undefeated guy who hasn't really been finishing people. All of a sudden, this is a weird fight late and Neil Magny's grabbing on this kid. I wouldn't be surprised, but Michael should win this fight.
If Michael Morales was like a first round sparking people kind of guy, I actually would be like, you could be right. But the fact that he takes his time and is measured and is controlled,
he nearly lost
is actually very beneficial.
Max Griffin as a monster favorite as well. I mean, Max Griffin was like just almost got a takedown in the third round that would have won him that fucking fight. So,
but Max Griffin is also 10 times more dangerous than Neil Magny. So you have to worry about more things in a fight. Neil Magny, you don't have to worry about anything other than some weird takedowns and, like you said, some control.
And also, too, people are like, oh, Michael Morales is this great wrestler. He can defend the takedowns. He's defended takedowns before. And it's like, Max Griffin, he defended those takedowns because he shoots like a wrestler. Neil Magny's not shooting singles and doubles. He just, like, randomly is hugging you, and then he's got a weird trip, and he just drags you to the ground. That's a little bit different to defend than, like, just defending a single out in the open or whatever.
Yeah, he's a freestyle wrestling national champion. And in freestyle, you can shoot very real takedowns, but, you know, it incorporates some throws and stuff as well. It's not Greco, but you know, there's a lot of upper body work. There's a lot of upper body work there too. So either way, Gucci-mata. That's when a pretty boy does an Uchimata. Gucci-mata.
That's what I tossed your thought ass.
What the fuck? $9,500 for Michael Morales. Not doing it. I do think he wins. I'm very positive he wins. I don't think he scores $9,500 because I don't think he's going to finish Neil Magny. He's not a finisher. And even his last fight when he beat Jake Matthews, he wasn't shooting a million takedowns. He wasn't tossing Jake around. And Jake's a good wrestler, but he was just being a little sharper in the striking. And winning a 30-27 or a 29-28 isn't going to score that well if there's not a whole bunch of takedowns and some work being done there.
And last thing, too, is, and this isn't like 100%, you know, whatever, but it's just a quote that I thought was, you know, people are like, well, Michael's not going to lose. He's not Mike Malott. And it's like, well, nobody really thought that Mike Malott was Mike Malott until he turned into Mike Malott. I mean, Mike Malott was just fucking putting everybody out, and then all of a sudden it turns out, you know, whatever. You never really see Malcolm Morales in one of those, like a dogfight. And Neil kind of turns that into it sometimes, so.
I agree with you. What I would push back on there is Mike Malott was used to finishing people. Morales isn't. He's perfectly fine.
He's used
taking
to
his time.
He's used to space and being out and doing what he needs to do and stuff. And he's never really been. And I mean, for whatever reason, it's like people just can't get away from fucking Neil Magny, man.
No, Neil Magny does. I mean, it's the fucking 40 fights of professional experience is what it is. 40 fights. It's
he knows what he's really good at. He just
correct. And he's 40 years old and he's still doing it. So all the respect.
Is he really
40? But he is 37. 37 at welterweight is
just turned 37 too.
Is 58 years old.
Fresh 37.
Either way, Michael Morales is obviously going to be the pick. If you do want to check out any bets we got going on, WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. You're not just going to get bets. You're also going to get picks, tools, the artificial intelligence, and more all the way through UFC 306.